I thought we were better than this. I really did. I was in the Amazon researching bad movies with your mom right before she died. Sorry about that.
New York City's a whole new level of crazy these days.
So I just saw Madam Web, and it is the worst movie ever made. Well, how do you know that? Well, it's simple, because this movie did nothing right. Think about the worst movie that you've ever seen. Picture it, if you will, in your brain cavity. Madam Web is way worse. This movie is an insult to the spirit of the comics. Whoever wrote them is probably turning in their grave, and whoever did the art, well, it doesn't really matter who did the art. It was probably an AI. Art's not even a real skill. The movie stars Dakota Johnson as Madam Web. She was bitten by a radioactive spider, and then she instantaneously became less cool than every dork who's ever played Spider-Man. She gains the ability to see into the future. You know, like a spider. I got bitten by a spider once. Nothing happened. Talk about 50 Shades of fucked up. Madam Web works as an EMT, and she sees a future where people die, so naturally she does the heroic thing and outsources fixing that problem to other people. And I don't want to make waves, but does anyone else think it's just a little bit sexist that she only hires women to help her with this problem? And that the main villain of the movie is a man? Men can be bitten by radioactive spiders too, ladies. Behind every great Madam Web is an equally great Spider-Man. Oh, and don't try to tell other people that I'm actually the sexist, okay? You're not allowed to take my words out of context and just post them on the internet, okay? You can't do it. I will call a lawyer. I love women. And they love me. They love talking to me. They always love hearing my theories on movies and feminism and political theory. Fuck, I bit my fucking tongue. You know, that's honestly Madam Web's biggest problem. It tries so hard to deftly discuss important topics, but it fumbles the bag. I especially hated the part, it's toward the middle of the movie, where Madam Web looks directly at the camera. It's like a shot just like this. She looks directly into the camera, she drops trowel, and then she shits all over Stan Lee's legacy. I mean, the guy just died. His body's not even cold yet, and you're gonna go and do a thing like that? Is that even legal? I don't think it is. I'll see you in court. I got ripped off, man. I only saw this movie so that I could see Dakota Johnson in latex, and I didn't even get that. Entertainment Tonight has your first look at all these actresses in their cool new spider suits. Yeah, more like first and last, because they just dress like normal fucking people the entire movie. And who on earth wants to see that? And then to top it off, after every major fight scene, the characters gather in one big circle and they say, did that just happen? Yes, it just happened. Of course it just happened. We all saw it happen. Who wrote this clunker? The MCU? Whoever that is. But in the end, they defeat the big evil man with their powers of being able to see the future and standing off to the side so that sheer dumb luck can trip up an overconfident idiot villain for them. Shouldn't have been a dumb ugly man, Captain Bad Guy. Whoever you are. Like, I don't even, like, who even is this guy? I don't even know who this is. I don't remember him from the comics. Who is this fucking Steve? Is that him? Is that Steve? Steve the bad guy? Well, congratulations, Madam Web and friends. You have successfully saved the world from Steve. Metropolis is now saved from his evil machinations, his evil plan of doing fuck knows what. Catcalling, probably. You know, I could go on for hours and hours about how bad this movie is. If I knew more about filmography, I could probably describe that all of the shots were bad. If I were a writer, I could talk about how all of the words were bad. And if I were an actor, I could talk about how I personally could have done a better job than all of the professional actors and actresses in this film.
You're showing off. Maybe a little.
But I am not any of those things. I am merely a consumer. I like to see movies and then get online and talk about my opinions on them. And that's all this is, so there's no need to get upset with me. Okay, they're just opinions. I'm just stating my opinions. You know, I'm entitled to my opinion. Okay? I am entitled to my opinion. 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 Okay. So I did actually see Madam Web, and I do know all of the things that happened to it, okay? I'm not a complete moron. To be honest with you, had I just seen Madam Web on its own, I probably never would have done a video about it at all, because I don't really find it noteworthy in the slightest. I mean, I didn't completely hate it. I just thought it was whatever, you know? I feel sort of ambivalent toward it, and that to me does not warrant setting up a camera for. However, a bunch of other people who have seen the film have made videos where they just mercilessly dunk on it, and that's fine, but then one guy decided that he wasn't going to dogpile on the new hate watch du jour, and instead chose to criticize the terrible conditions that allowed a product like Madam Web to end up in the state that it is in. He chose not to shit on his fellow filmmakers and creatives, and for some reason doing so caused some of the worst people in history to attack him for it. Making fun of that seemed much more worthy of setting up the camera for. I have a hell of a lot of respect for Chris Stuckman and how he went about covering Madam Web, and I'll admit, I myself am guilty of hate-watching movies with the intent of making silly videos dunking on them later. And I don't think it's inherently wrong to do that. There are people, especially on this platform, who are entertained when bad media is riffed on, and there is algorithmic incentive to do it, and not necessarily to do so accurately. In fact, I wrote most of the first part of this video before I even saw Madam Web, solely to illustrate how ignorant some of these dunk fests can sound from people that are, well, I guess we'll say charitably speaking, maybe missing a few things, and less charitably speaking, focusing on the horribly wrong things. It is absolutely okay to be frustrated, upset, or even angry at a piece of media, and then talking about those feelings in a YouTube video. This platform is for people to be creative and to express themselves however they choose to. So, by all means, have at it. Madam Web is a product, Sony is a corporation, and superhero movies are a genre, none of which are above reproach. Still, there is a human element to this, and decency shouldn't be so far beyond the pale. Making a bad movie, despite how many have responded to them in online circles for decades now, isn't a crime. Nor is choosing to criticize the corporate masters that have a heavy hand in making them the way that they are. Ultimately, just, you know, don't be a dick, okay? And don't ask Dakota Johnson, or any other actors for that matter, about stupid memes while they're on the press junkets. I mean, good God. But, like Madam Web, I too can see into the future. And I get the feeling that that's not something that's likely to change anytime soon. Oh well. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it made sense. If you enjoyed it, please fulfill the whims of the algorithm with likes, comments, and a subscription to the channel. If you want to support my struggle, you can go to Patreon and get yourself some perks. Support me if you can. Love me if you must. Have a great rest of your day.